Buenos días. Saludos desde Londres. Me alegro mucho poder participar en esta iniciativa de la Universidad Central y el Gobierno de Buenos Aires en la celebración del Día de los Parlamentarios. Disculpe, pero me parece que puedo expresarme mejor en inglés, así voy a continuar en inglés. So, best wishes to everybody, and I would like to start by saying that I am making this recording from the special room in our Parliament, which is used for the activities of the British group of the IPU, the Interparliamentary Union. And I wish to acknowledge very much the work of the Interparliamentary Union in bringing parliamentarians together, and that seems very appropriate in celebrating this year's Day of Parliamentarians. I have been asked to speak about my impression of the world issues affecting and which can be carried forward by members of Parliament. I think, in fact I'm sure, that all members of Parliament do their work in the hope of bringing together the world in solving some of the problems that affect us in this global village, but most of all, in creating peace and understanding. And I think recent events in the world have shown how important it is for members of Parliament to stand up and to defend the rights of peaceful people against war and aggression. In terms of my own career, I was very fortunate. We have an expression in English, life begins at 40, and my political life certainly began at 40 when I was elected in the first direct elections to the European Parliament, which was and remains the only directly elected international parliament in the history of the world. The experience of serving in the European Parliament taught me particularly that we need to understand each other better. We need to realize that we are not the only place in the world, the only country in the world to be tackling particular problems, whether it's climate change, security, education, health. And by working together, there is much that we can do to improve the world. I was then fortunate in being appointed to the House of Lords, and as a minister, and as I'm sure you all know, ministers in our Parliament have to be members of Parliament. So whether you're a member of the elected House of Commons or of the appointed House of Lords, you are there as a member as well as in party political terms to defend your government or your party's point of view. And during my ministerial life, I served in education, in energy, and in health. All those departments were tackling problems on a national basis, but which had global significance. Education, we all know, is vital for the future of young people wherever they are in the world, and lifelong learning in particular is something which we now all recognize must lead us into the new technology which pervades our lives. Energy, in those days, we were privatizing the electricity industry. Renewable energy was just something that many of us knew was being experimented on, but the I'm talking about 1990, and so the difference between the use of renewables and the possibilities for the future of a net zero world as a result of the work that was done in that area is clearly visible. And another issue that arose in my departmental responsibilities in the Department for Energy was the importance of energy efficiency. And I think that we still all have much to learn on that front. The final department that I worked in was health. And I think, of course, that for every country, the needs of the population have to be met, and it's not a cheap option. But the work that has been done was, I think, made more obvious during the pandemic, during the COVID crisis, when again the world cooperated. So, realizing that all these questions will be entered into very thoroughly in the course of today's proceedings, I do hope that in concluding, the conference will be able to